Hello, I'd like to tell you a story. This is the story of my baptism. When I was 8 years old, I decided to be baptized. One of the most important decisions in my life. My older brother, Randy, who was 3 years older than me, decided to wait for me and so that we could be baptized together. And I always appreciated that. I remember the baptismal experience. My brother went first and was baptized, and then it was my turn. All the eyes were upon me in the church. I went to the edge of the baptismal font and I looked over the edge, and for some reason the steps and the water looked very intimidating, and I must have hesitated in that moment. Brother Jack White, who was the minister performing the baptism, walked over to me with a smile on his face, and he reached out his hand and he took my hand in his and very gently guided me into the water. And I remember thinking later that was kind of like Jesus Christ reaching out to me and inviting me to be baptized. And I trusted that invitation, and I followed the guidance of Jesus and Brother White into the water. Just before I was baptized, Brother White hugged me close, and I remember feeling very warm and loved. And then he did an interesting thing. He kissed me right on top of the head. In that moment, I felt the love, what I've come to understand as the grace of God penetrating through my very being. In a few moments, I was baptized, and I came up out of the water and wiped my eyes clear, and I looked over the edge of the font, and I smiled, and the whole congregation was beaming and smiling. And in that smile of the people of the church, the body of Christ, I remember thinking, Jesus is smiling at me because of the commitment that I've made today. Jesus was smiling at me through the congregation. I'll never forget that experience. I'm so glad I made that commitment. All that has followed in my life has been an expression of my commitment that day. I stepped in the water in faith, and I decided to follow Jesus wherever he might lead me.